Hi, my name is Matthew Mercer. I'm a voice actor and the Dungeon Master for Geek and Sundry's Critical Role, and welcome to this fun video series about tips and tricks for Game Masters and Dungeon Masters alike. Today, I'm doing an FAQ, because I get a lot of questions often over and over again, and while I like to answer as often as possible, it might be easier just to put this video and answer some of them for the foreseeable future. Number 1. Is your Critical Role story a homebrew? Yes. I created it from the ground up, for better or for worse, and I'm still developing it as we continue playing the game. I did borrow the Dawn War Pantheon for it, as it was a memorable and relatable Pantheon, but there are some carryover gods from Pathfinder, because that's where we began the campaign in Pathfinder, and then converted over to 5th edition partway through. So yeah, but it's all homebrew, and if time allows me in the future, maybe I'll put something out for you guys if you wanted to play around in Exandria, so fingers crossed. Number 2. I see you looking at your app a lot for reference during the game. What app do you use? I use Fight Club 5 on iOS. It's a free software. It requires a little bit of jiggering to get it to work. You have to download some files from certain websites and then upload it through Dropbox onto the actual app. So it's a little involved at the get-go, and you have to do some research on Google to find out how to actually do it. But it's an extremely helpful resource for quick reference to spells. You can bookmark spells, creatures, abilities, see classes and racial feats. It's great. So that's been very helpful to me. How do you make your maps? I start with 1-inch grid easel paper. You can get these giant pads of 1-inch grid easel paper on Amazon.com, and those are great because you can just go ahead and tear them off. They're semi-transparent, and then I go ahead and get some Crayola markers and some colored pencils, and I just kind of build from there. I usually sketch out in a small scale first, just to get a feel for how the battlefield will look and flow, and then I draw the larger version and fill it out and use that for the actual game. Mind you, there's a lot of great software online that you can create maps with. You can do things in Photoshop, Campaign Cartographer, and if you play online for Roll20, there are a lot of great software in those communities that you can ask about that help you build your own maps to look really awesome and professional too, so look into that. Where do you find, or how do you make your playlists for your game? I make them on iTunes, and I pull from many tracks. Mine currently are made up from tracks from Plate Mail Games, which has a lot of cool atmospheric and thematic tracks for locations and terrain. I use Midnight Syndicate, has a lot of great tracks. Incompetech from Kevin MacLeod has a lot of great tracks, and all those are royalty-free, meaning those kind of the only ones I was able to use when we first started the stream. Since then, I've gotten permission to use like the soundtrack from the PC game Pillars of Eternity. I've gotten permission to use Elder Scrolls series soundtrack from Bethesda, and those have all been really cool. You guys don't have to worry about that if you're doing home games. You can use any music you want. You don't have those limitations. But I highly recommend any of those. You can pull soundtracks from like Conan the Barbarian. You can pull in Final Fantasy tracks if you want to, anything you want to. But what I do is I break them down into playlists, and each playlist is a certain mood or a location. So I have like a playlist for small battles, one for big battles, one for boss battles. I have a playlist for creepy. I have a playlist for like really creepy areas. I have playlists for a mysterious scenario. I have playlists when it's peaceful. I have playlists for when you're in a town, playlists for when you're in a tavern. That way it's just really easy for me to just click, any one of these playlists for a specific moment. It takes a little bit of setup, and it's a lot of time put into it to make sure you have that layout. But once you have it, as a dungeon master or as a game master, it's really easy to just go ahead and switch pretty quickly based on how the scenario's mood or dynamic has changed. Can I use or incorporate your characters or parts of your world in my campaign? Sure, yes, please go for it. I find it flattering. I think it's awesome that you would want to, have tie-ins or, elements of your game cross over into ours. Just be aware that players' actions in our game can sometimes change the world. So if you want to be playing alongside our campaign, there's always a chance that things can get weird down the road. So be prepared, if you wanted to keep it consistent, at least, to make things weird on your end as well. I don't know, depends what the players do. But if time ever allows, I'd love to make a source book, so we'll see if that's ever a possibility if time lets me. How can I improve my skills as a GM or dungeon master? First and foremost, and it's not necessary, but it's so helpful, improv classes. And you don't have to want to be a performer or an actor to take improv. It's helpful in so many facets of your life. Just the idea of quick thinking, of being able to yes and work with other people to make fast decisions and listen very well and to be able to adjust on the fly. It's helpful in everything from business to social dynamics to so many things. But it tremendously helps for dungeon mastering or game mastering a role-playing game. Also, you can look online for great blogs from other dungeon masters. If you can find it, I'd recommend looking up Chris Perkins' DM Experience blog or episodes. I think those you can find them still. I think, but there's some good stuff on there. You can also look at a lot of the really great real play shows that are online, like Rock and Roll Play. You can look at all the Acquisitions Inc. stuff that Chris Perkins himself did at PAX, or you can watch Critical Role. But you can find a lot of cool little tricks and interesting techniques that different dungeon masters use to make their games immersive. And everyone's different. Everyone has their own method. Everyone has their really cool thing they do. So watching them all, you can kind of pick and choose and build your own cool method. Final question for this FAQ. How does this random rule or feature work in D&D? Google. Google is your friend. I know a lot of the rules in the game, but there are also some that I'm even fuzzy on. If you have any questions or any concerns or anything you're not sure about in the game and how the rules work, before you tweet it at me, look it up. Put it into Google. You'll find a lot of great people that have probably asked the same question many times over, and a lot of people that are probably much more learned in the rule system than I am that have answered it. So go ahead and just give a search out there, find the communities that work out there. RPGNet's great about that, and Reddit's really great, and just get those answers there. And if you're still stumped, then go ahead and throw it at me. Otherwise, I end up just not having the time to answer all those tweets, and I feel bad. But so go to Google; it'll help you out. So that's all I got for this FAQ. We might have another one down the road in the future, depending on how these questions continue. And you guys have really cool things you want to ask. So once again, thank you for coming by. You can see more of these videos on geekandsundry.com, and I'll see you around soon.